Yo, what is up everyone? Tachi here. So today we are obviously going to be talking about the upcoming Dorothy Gunner banner, which should be dropping probably sometime in the next couple days, I imagine. Obviously, this is not going to be a September coin. This will likely be an October coin. At least I'm pretty sure I remember seeing in the notes them saying that the final banner that we'll be using this month's coin was the last one. So yeah, this is not going to be that. So if you think you can save and just pull on Dorothy Gunner and get medals for this month to get like say mechanical spear, unfortunately I'm fairly certain you can't do that. But again, anything is due to change on this banner at all, whether it's that or the actual weapons, the stats, the skills. I'm unsure, no one really knows, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what did come out in Japan, and if we don't get that, we don't get that, it's whatever. But obviously the main focus of this banner is going to be Dorothy Gunner. Now in terms of stats, I don't really think this is that great for a DPS class. So someone like me, I would not be focusing on getting this job like at all. Mostly because it is focused pretty much all on defensive stats. So this would actually be pretty decent for a cleric class. If you guys are clerics, obviously you guys want as much defense as you can, and obviously here you go, this is a bunch of defense. I think it's 700, so there's 500, 6, 7, so there's 700 defense. That's pretty good for a cleric. And then obviously, of course, it does come with her gun. Her gun is, do you guys know how I feel about this gun? It has pretty much stable stats, same as every other gun that's released around this time. Pretty low, I want to say. It's not high, it's not low, it's like average, I guess. Obviously you guys know guns are guns. Unfortunately not Dauntless 2 or Dauntless 1, it's just replenish magic. So support skill wise, probably one of the worst ones that you can get. Main skill wise, you guys already know that guns and swords pretty much all by default have a 2.7 ratio. So more than likely this is also a 2.7 ratio, which means that it will do a lot of damage, but again, single target, so it's not bad, but it's not amazing either. I suppose in this case, perhaps these kinds of weapons have a place right now, mostly for two purposes. One of them is PvE, specifically against bosses, so water bosses. I believe the next raid is going to be Zhuanwu, blah, 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 blah. The water turtle, basically. So if it is the water turtle, that would be good, because that means that all these grass or green or wind, whatever you want to call them, all of these, especially the magic type ones, are going to be really good. And then also the other good part about it is that the upcoming Half Nightmare is going to be Half Nightmare Gunner, which is Snow White. So 1 if you like Snow White, or 2 if you like Half Nightmares. That is a choice. That will be the first single target Half Nightmare that we're going to be getting, and the only Half Nightmare DPS for probably a while, unless they change up the order, which is another topic entirely. But at the very least, this will bring something into play if you happen to have a lot of other bows. I personally don't. I only have like 4, so it's not really something that I plan to be using, but I'm sure some people out there have quite a bit of bows, especially the ones that were in shop. There was a couple of 900 ones that have DC2. So yeah, for sure, I definitely think that this banner is good for people who want to pull for like the future Half Nightmare, which should be coming in the next Grand Coliseum, so sometime in the middle of next month. But overall, I personally don't think this banner is that worth it, for me at least. But we will continue on to the other weapons and see if that maybe will apply to you guys as well. The next weapon is Golden Sword, and you guys might find this familiar because I believe this weapon is supposed to be the one that was on one of the special banners. But obviously, I suppose now that I think about it, more than likely the reason why it wasn't in that special banner was because in JP, the special banner actually took place after the Dorothy banner. But since they took the banners out of order, things like Mechanical Spear and this sword specifically were not actually available in our pool yet. So we are now getting it, as you guys can tell. Again, stats about average. It does have DC 2, and it does have a main skill attached with like a little pseudo buff on it, right? So it does increase your own physical attack by a small amount, which I want to say is probably maybe like 1 stack worth or half a stack worth. So it's not much, but it does help, and it's always nice to have. So this weapon, if you are a physical DPS and you happen to be a breaker specifically, I would say this sword is a good choice to pull for if you want the sword. Anyhow, on to the next weapon, which again, I believe this was on one of the spec banners as well, Golden Staff. So obviously Golden Staff, you guys see it here, recovery support, but it is a single target heal. Now, again, that is going to have to be a choice on you guys. I personally don't think that single target heals are that good. I do prefer AoE heals. But that being said, I have heard people say that due to the fact that Vanguard specifically have high enough HP now that you can't really heal them all in one hit for most clerics, of course. So most clerics are probably healing with a single target staff, probably like 20k-ish. It's not enough to full heal them, so it's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about overheal. But even with that being the case, I still think that AoE healing is still superior. This does have pretty decent stats, although obviously you guys can tell physical defense a little bit on the low side. Overall, there are better staffs, but recovery support too, I don't know how you guys weigh that. That is going to have to be on you. I do think that there are S and whatnot weapons that are better than this staff, but some people will argue that the 1 target healing is still not bad, so it's worth keeping. In that case, I would say, yes, this is worth pulling on. On top of that, you're already probably going to be pulling for that job for that 700 defense. That is a pretty substantial amount of defense. So this might just be worth pulling on just for those 2 things. And then the final weapon is Golden Harp. Again, look at that. This is a weapon that was supposed to be on the special banner. Now, stat-wise, again, same stats, obviously because it is the same cost. That makes sense. It has support boon too, but it is a single target magic defense increase. Personally, we already have so much defense increasing harps that I don't think it's actually worth pulling on. But it is a support boon too. So all of you Minsorks out there, you guys are going to have to decide. Is it having a single target on a stat that you probably don't even really want to raise right now? Is it worth pulling for this just for support boon 2? Personally, I don't think so. I would prefer if this was a magic attack or even a physical attack increase, but because it's a single target defense increase, I don't think it's worth it. And that just comes down to the fact that most books and most instruments are defense related. So how important is this really? I don't think it is. In my guild, we have a lot of trouble reaching 20. But defense, we reach defense 20 all the time. We hit max cap on that all the time, and we have been for months. So it's very clear to me, even though I'm not playing the class, that there's a very big focus on defense related items for the supports. And personally, I don't think you need to expand on that. I really don't. Maybe as a sorcerer, it would be fine, I guess. But that would really just come down to like farming points or something, right? Like if you're farming points against an easy guild, it would definitely be worth not bringing in attack down books. Just bring defense down books. But this is an instrument. So at what point in time would you really need another single target defense increaser? I personally don't see it. But support boon could be worth it. So I leave that up to you guys. What do you guys think? Is this worth pulling on? Overall, I would say this banner is probably worth pulling on for breakers and clerics, and I suppose to some extent as well, like I said before, if you happen to want to go half Nightmare Snow White, which is a gunner. If you want to focus on that, you will need more guns and whatnot, so obviously banners with them at all would be good for you. But yeah, unless Dorothy is your waifu, in which case, you know what, go ahead. Waifus trump everything. If Dorothy is your waifu, go ahead and pull. It doesn't even matter. But personally for me, I will be saving due to the fact that immediately after this banner, I'm pretty sure now, the only banner left at this point that has to be after this, if not a special banner, is going to be Snow White Paladin. So I will be saving up for her. I did spend quite a bit of my crystals primarily to finish off my mechanical spear, which I did MLB. So I'm good for now. I'm just going to go ahead and save up for my waifu. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you guys want to see more videos in the future. I'm out. Have a nice day.